The Commanders just came away with a 17-15 victory over the Cleveland Browns in the first week of the preseason. Going to be breaking down my winners and losers for the Washington Commanders here in week one. But first here, Commanders football is back. Let's just appreciate that for a second and go ahead and click that thumbs up icon right now to start today's video. Now on today's show, I've got my winners and my losers from this week's game against the Cleveland Browns. Of course, final score 17-15, and there's definitely some interesting storylines here. Cleveland ends up not going for two to try to make the comeback here, doesn't get it, and then with no timeouts and less than 2 minutes left to go, they decide to kick it off to the Commanders. That is the sign of a losing franchise where I don't care if it's preseason. You go out and you try to win the football game. Now, Dorian Thompson-Robinson for the Browns did look pretty good today. 9 of 10, 102 yards and a tutty. Big day for him, and then also 7 carries for 27 for Demetric Felton. And we're going to get into some of the biggest winners for the Commanders here, starting with QB1 with Sam Howell. 9 of 12 today. Despite, the protection was okay today. It was a lot better than I thought it was going to be coming into the day. And Sam definitely capitalized on that. 9 of 12 today passing, 77 yards and a touchdown. That's exactly what you want to see from Sam Howell here in his first action of the 2023 season. I thought he looked sharp. I thought his footwork looked a lot better than it was last year and even going back to college. And I thought his throwing mechanics looked a lot cleaner than they were. We've been talking all offseason about Sam Howell and his improved footwork, his improved mechanics, his improved mental capacity where he can get through his reads, and that showed today. He looked like QB1, which is why he is my biggest winner of the day for this Week 1 matchup. Now, give me a shout-out. Shout him out here in the comments section. Who is your biggest winner for this team versus the Cleveland Browns? Was it Sam Howell? Was it somebody else? Let me know what you think down there in the comments section. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by answering today's pinned question. Now let's talk about the rookie, Chris Rodriguez Jr., who I thought had a really, really good day. Really showed out against the Cleveland Browns today. I think that you look at his box score, pretty darn good numbers today as well. And I think that, 5 carries for 39 yards, maybe you look at the box score and you're like, whatever. But I think that he showed some really nice tools today, knifing through, let's face it, the offensive line here with Washington isn't the best at run blocking. So if you can go 39 yards on 5 carries, that's a pretty darn good load there for Chris Rodriguez Jr., and I think he impressed among all of the running backs on the Commanders today. And then we get to Cole Turner, the tight end. And listen, this is somebody that Commanders fans are really hoping can have a breakout season in 2023. 4 receptions for 31 yards, had a long of 13 today. Very solid from Cole Turner. Now with Logan Thomas out, Turner had a lot of opportunities. When Thomas comes back, we'll see how things kind of shake up there on the depth chart. But Cole is somebody that's trying to play a lot more here in 2023, and he definitely helped himself out with his performance tonight. Then we get to Percy Butler, one of my favorite backup players on this roster, if I'm being completely honest with you. I think he's incredibly solid as a safety in this secondary for Jack Del Rio, and he showed that today. An interception, a pass breakup, and 2 tackles for Percy. I think that, he's somebody that you can really trust as a backup. Now, he's maybe not a starting level player. He's not Derek Forrest. He's not Cameron Curl. Probably the most underrated safety duo in the league, in my opinion. But Percy's somebody, if one of those guys gets hurt, you can trust Butler. 6 foot, 191 pounds, long arms as well, can come in there, and he's good enough in coverage, and he showed that today. Then another winner here in the secondary, Christian Holmes, had a really nice night tonight in coverage, in my opinion. I was keeping a close eye on him. And I think he did a pretty nice job, and he definitely made a good name for himself. This is a very loaded cornerback room here in Washington. It's going to really be an uphill battle for Christian to end up making the final roster, but I liked what I saw from him today. Really excited to see how he's going to do for the rest of the preseason. So before I get into my losers here in just a second, go ahead and click that subscribe button if you want wall-to-wall coverage on the Washington Commanders throughout the preseason. Next weekend, we're going to be doing a live watch party for that Week 2 preseason matchup against the Cardinals on Monday Night Football. So make sure you click that subscribe button if you want to join us on our live watch parties this season. And then we get to the losers, and we started the winners with a quarterback. Let's start losers with the quarterback as well. And let's just face it, Jacoby Brissett had a really ugly interception today. threw it deep, and it just landed in the defense's arms, right? 60% passing, it's okay. 75 yards in total. But, man, that interception definitely made him look bad today, to say the least. And Sam Howell coming out of it today, 9 of 12, really looking good, completing 75% of his passes. Howell looked like QB1 today. That's the big takeaway for me coming out of this one. And Jacoby Brissett definitely looked like that high-end backup that we expect him to be. And hopefully he can clean up those interceptions in the weeks to come. Now, who should start in your opinion? My vote here is going to be Sam Howell. But let me know who you think down there in the comments section. Give me an SH if you think it's going to be Sam Howell, or it should be Sam Howell, or if you think it should be Jacoby Brissett, give me a JB down there in the comments section. And now we get to Andrew Wylie, the right tackle, who had a holding penalty in the end zone, which led to a safety, of course. And listen, Andrew, you're bringing this guy in to be your right tackle. You give him quite a bit of money coming in free agency. He was your big free agency signing this year, and he's just okay. This is what I've been saying about him all offseason. The fact that he's probably your best offensive lineman is kind of sad, if I'm being completely honest with you right now. And, to have him make the big mistake, I thought overall the unit actually did pretty decent today. Only gave up 2 total sacks, and nobody on the Cleveland defense had a full sack today. It was all half sacks. So I look at Andrew Wylie, and, that holding penalty sucks, but I think he is overall the best offensive lineman on the Commanders right now. And, I don't think those holding penalties is really going to be indicative of what he's going to be doing for the Commanders moving forward. And then Jartavius Martin, the DB, I expected to see more from him today. Generally pretty disappointing in coverage, at least in my opinion. I'll have to look at the film, and I'll have a full film breakdown for you guys on the channel, so make sure you click your subscribe button when I get to the tape. But Jartavius looked just a little bit slow today, just a little bit like the game was moving a little bit too fast. And against second-teamers and third-teamers, that's not really what you want to see from your second-round pick. Now, I'm a believer in Jartavius. I believe in his long-term future. But there's definitely a reason, I think, now that Benjamin St-Juste was listed above him on the Steelers' depth chart coming into this one. And I think Jartavius is definitely going to have to earn it moving forward in the final weeks of the preseason. Now, I just want to talk a little bit about the game, man. Generally, it's just a general preseason game, lots of backups playing, but I really, really loved what I saw from Sam Howell. And can we just talk for a second about how much of a loser franchise the Cleveland Browns are for not onside kicking? It's the preseason. Who cares, man? I think that's their thinking, we don't want to get anybody hurt for no reason. It's preseason. But it's hold on, man. If you're trying to build a winning culture there in Cleveland, why are you you gotta have that culture and that mindset, that winning mindset throughout the organization whenever you're playing. It doesn't matter where you're playing, when you're playing, what the situation is. You got to give it your all to win the football game. And the Browns had an opportunity. If you get that onside kick, you have a real shot to win that football game. You're 2 points away. That's a field goal away. Right, so that's an obvious onside kick situation, and Kevin Stefanski was just a straight-up scaredy cat in this one and decided not to go for it, and that's why the Cleveland Browns are going to be seen as kind of a lower-level organization. And I think Josh Harris, Ron Rivera, and the Washington Commanders brass here need to take that as an example. We're not going to be doing that crap here. We are a winning organization. We are going to hold people to a high standard. And I don't care if it's the preseason. We're going to try to win. That's what I really hope Ron Rivera, Eric Bieniemy, Josh Harris, these guys are bringing to this new era of Washington football. And if you agree with me and you want to see them build this new era here in the nation's capital, you want to do it with me and your fellow Commanders fans, go ahead and click that subscribe button for me right now. That'll be it from me today, guys. Have a good night. I will see you guys tomorrow. And as always, hail to the Commanders.